and APC will go back to body long.
Well, we also will be looking to see how that statement of yours is received by the All Progressives Congress. But we certainly will also be looking to see the development within the
All Progressive Congress, by whatever name called, is now a curse on this country. Look at all the things that are going on in Nigeria. Where is your president? Vacationing in France. People are dying in Zamfara, dying in Katsina. He said he's going on vacation.
No, it was work leave. Work leave.
There's no place in Nigeria that you can attract tourism where you can work. Look at what is going on with NEPA. Okay, now, our educational system, ASU is threatening to go on strike. Telling you the instability in the educational system. The doctors and nurses are on strike or threatening to go on strike. Telling you the instability going on in the healthcare. You just told me what is happening in the oil industry. Nupeng, this going on strike. Telling you the instability in oil industry. Look at the contractors. Since 2024, they have not been paid. Telling you the risk that is going on in our infrastructural development. A country that the education, the healthcare, and the infrastructure are in problem is a country in distress. We have more malnourished children now in Nigeria than in Sudan. Can't you see that a woman, the child died because she couldn't afford transport to take the child to the hospital because of malaria? People are suffering, people are dying. And this president is vacationing in Paris, wearing the best of suits, laughing at the suffering of Nigerians. So should save us from APC.
Just one moment. Are you saying then that if the presidential candidate of your party, as will emerge, should clinch it in 2027, that person will never go on leave in 4 years?
Tinubu has spent more time almost abroad than in Nigeria. When did he return from the last one?
That hasn't answered my question.
No. What I'm saying is, I cannot speak for any other person, but I can tell you that most serious presidents with the problems Nigeria have, I don't see them vacationing in foreign countries, promoting the tourism of that foreign countries.
I think it's a fine place to live it, Mr.
Does Jonathan still have some political currency to leverage? Someone saying...
That's the currency I'm giving you. He's not alone.
Someone saying, he's lost his position. He's lost the momentum. There's still that nostalgia, but he might have lost his touch.
It's not the nostalgia. It is real. When you have a president, a country that is growing in stature, economy that is booming, people that are prosperous, they do not become mere nostalgia. But when you find economy that is tanking, when you find people that are hurting, when you find multidimensional poverty and denuded living as the order of the day, people remember those days in which the naira was $1 to 200 or thereabout, in which the economy was the biggest in Africa, in which a lot of attention was paid to the youth, in which security was even taken seriously, in which there was inclusion in governance. Not this kind of a local, kind of insular, narrow, regionalist mindset of supremacist and hegemonic politics. So the big deal for Jonathan, and most crucially, let's be practical about it, he has only one time. That is key for the North, because 2031, don't be any argument. That's why Peter B was very quick to say, right, I have one thing to do, even if you give it to me. Right. Because we know that morally, the very imperative that will drive political success is to say, 2023 to 2031 is the turn of the South, 2031 almost is the turn of the North. Jonathan taking this plunge will be a game changer. Peter will be taking the plunge and getting the nod of a major party is a game changer. Within the PDP, you can see the work being done there. The chairman of the Governors Forum, the Governor of Party State, Bala Mohammed, had led the charge to rebuild and reform and retool the party in that direction. Successful convention November, Jonathan will be in the mix, Bola Tinubu is toast. Right. The three domains of hegemony, presidential power, economy, and security apparatus, all confiscated by one entity. That entity doesn't represent the Igbo, Efik, Ijaw, and the BPO. It represents only one dimension. People increasingly, I don't know whether it is true, could be speculation, that the language in the villa now, people know what it is. The language in the central bank, people know what it is. The language in NNPC, and language in immigration, and the language in customs, they know what it is. That's narrow language. So even when if Sheyi Makinde were to do well in the primaries, he's going to bring that spirit that is known in the Southwest, progressive, inclusive spirit, not a local spirit, that is regionalist, hegemonic in context, insular, and Barakboic orientation.
Right. I wish I can understand that less.
That's what we call Barakboy. When you're in university, Barakboy means your village assembly. Right. Whenever I have, like for a year, from say a village in Kogi or whatever there, and you go to your meetings there. So you find this presidency is like Barakboy presidency. A presidency of me, I myself, and my people. Right. Takes from the rest of the people, even in the South. I'm
sure the presidency would disagree with your submission there.
You can't disagree with, excuse me, please. This is not something we are doing because we love to do it. It's simple. If the president just managed to speak through 2023, when it was almost an unknown at the presidential level of power, not the regional level of power, and the experience in history has shown that president dropped 2, 3, 4 points from where they were when they came in. Jonathan did, Buhari did, Obasanjo did, Obama did, everybody did. Even Trump lost second time. There is no way he will do better with the state of the economy and the state of insecurity and the state of poverty. So what we're saying is that the moral clarity, that imperative force that impelled President Jonathan in 2015 to pick up the phone, call Buhari and say, I lost, you won, congratulations. President Bola Tinubu should pick up that phone, either to Jonathan or P2B, and say, I lost, you won. Congratulations.
Right.
You see, this is Kenneth Okonkwo and Mr. Udenta. Now, INEC has finally recognized ADC led by David Mark and Arek Beshola, the fashion. There's no even fashion. According to them, there's no fashion. It's only one fashion, led by the leadership of David Mark and Arek Beshola. Now, INEC has recognized them now. So, what is next? What next? After INEC recognized the leadership of David Mark and Arek Beshola in ADC, what's the next thing? So, yet, if after that recognition from INEC, court again restrained INEC from recognizing the party, means the matter is still in the court. I think they are going to go back the court again on the 15th of this month. So for now, yet INEC has recognized them, but court, less than 24 hours of recognition by INEC, court restrained INEC for further recognizing them, recognizing this leadership of ADC, David Mark and Arek Beshola. Anyways, for the fact that they have been recognized, there is no two ways about it. So now, once fully the court case is over, then the party will start finally. That's when you see that a lot of people that have been sitting behind the fence, they will want to come inside because fully it has been validated by INEC and the Supreme Court. So you'll see a lot of massive defections. That's why I'm asking, what is next? Tinubu needs to watch out. After all, he's going back to Aso Rock. So the best thing Tinubu could do, prepare your message down to call either Tinubu, either Peter Obi, congratulations, or call Goodluck Jonathan, congratulations. Me, I think it's going to be Peter Obi because Jonathan, I don't think he's contesting. Yeah, they met yesterday, closed door meeting. The meeting was successful according to Peter Obi. The meeting was fruitful and successful for the state of the nation. So what next? Nobody has given us any details. Nobody has given us detail inside of that meeting. It was a closed door meeting, so they know what they agreed on. Who is going to step down for the order? Who is going to step down? Yes, Peter Obi Jonathan was his boss, or Peter Obi at that time worked together. They worked closely together at that time. But hey, that time has gone. The parameters that you used to decide to calculate that time, it has changed. You have to change the parameters again. So 2027 presidential election, a lot is just unfolding. So I want you to take your time, listen to this video from Kenneth Okonkwo and Udenta. This man, let him explain to you, tell you a little bit about Tinubu's government. Do you understand? And Kenneth Okonkwo explain to you what is going on in ADC, what you are expecting, what is going to come. Tinubu is going to be a shock observer. Tinubu in 2027. So who needs to make Tinubu's bed in that body long? He need to start preparing, looking for the best mattress, bedding to make his bed, so that when he comes by, it will not be a problem, because definitely he's going back to body long 2027 after presidential election. What do you think? Listen to this video and leave your honest opinion, comment about this interview. Jonathan's meeting to Peter Obi and ADC. I never recognize them or whatever. Take your time, watch the video. We'll come back and talk about it.
Because part of what INEC has been accused of over the years is not being fair, is not been conducting, will I say, elections that will be free and fair, so to speak, and maybe has not lived up to the promises that it delivers. These are some of the complaints that INEC has suffered over the years. So do you think that with this, in spite of all that is currently going on within the ADC, people who feel like they have been displaced by the coming in of will I say, new actors into this party, and yet INEC says, look, these are the people we recognize without fear, without prejudice, without anything. Do you think that is an indication to you, whom you have not exactly shied away from the fact that you've criticized INEC in the past? Do you think it's an indication that they'll be fair in the 2027 elections?
Well, what I'm going to say is that INEC was fair in the dealing of recognizing David Mark and Rauf Ogbeni Aregbesola as the chairman and secretary of ADC. Whether it will be fair in election is a hypothetical question, but we pray that there should be no technical glitch. As you know, I've searched through the Constitution and the Electoral Act and I've not found technical glitch in it. So they should stop importing extraneous, issues into what they are doing. They should stay with the law, like they stayed with the law in the recognition of David Mark and Aregbesola as national chairman and secretary. Please, may I use this opportunity to plead with you and all the media houses around Nigeria. There is nothing like the David Mark-led, as if there is any other faction. If there is any other national chairman or secretary of ADC, kindly tell me, because I know of only David Mark and Aregbesola.
All right, let's talk about this.
I'm moving on in that. There is only one ADC.
This court order, though. This court order,
it's not a new party.
Yes.
ADC is older than APC. It started somewhere in 2005. So this issue of people coming in to say they are dissatisfied, people that came even yesterday, it is funny and ridiculous. Nobody that ought to be satisfied is dissatisfied in ADC. None.
Okay. This court order,
that I want to be able to read it out exactly.
Proceed.
Because what we're seeing, at least what people are saying, is that Honorable Nafiu Balagombe has won the case. And that the court has said that David Mark and the other people mentioned, Rauf Aregbesola, should not be parading themselves as leaders of that particular party. But, just so people can understand exactly what it's an order of interim injunction restricting the fourth defendant from recognizing the second and third defendants as the national chairman and national secretary. So the fourth defendant is INEC, and they're saying the second and third, that's David Mark and Aregbesola. So it's an order of interim injunction restraining the fourth defendant, that's INEC, from recognizing the second and third defendants as the national chairman and national secretary of their agents, cohorts, and privies of the first defendant's respondents hearing, pending the hearing of the motion and notice already filed in this matter.
Yeah, sorry. What you just read is not the order of the court. That's the prayer of the applicant.
It says order in the Federal High Court of Nigeria.
The order of the court is that this relief being sought by the applicant is hereby refused. So I have the copy of the order.
All right, so let's hear what's really going on here.
All right, so if you want me to read to you the order of the court, he said, it is hereby ordered as follows. 1, that the plaintiff applicant's application dated and filed 2nd of September 2025 is refused. 2, that an order of this honorable court is hereby made directing the plaintiff applicant to put the defendants on notice. 3, that the defendants' respondents are hereby ordered by this honorable court to show cause why the application should not be granted. 4, that case is adjourned to 15th day of September 2025 for the respondents to show cause.
So the matter is not over.
Now, let me now talk as a lawyer.
Okay.
You do not use interim interlocutory injunction on an action that is already executed. If you check, they were asking that INEC should not recognize.
Yes.
It was refused. Now INEC has recognized. You can no longer go by the way of injunction. So this is dead like dodo. They can only proceed to begin to plead their cause as in the substantive suit. And after the hearing, that's when the judgment will come.
Well, you say that all the people that should be happy.
So this case is dead.
All the people that should be happy are happy. That's
Very well.
That's what you said.
Yes, that should be happy are happy. And they include the National Working Committee that resigned voluntarily and in accordance with the ADC Constitution, Article 1914 1X.
It's interesting. I like your choice of words when you say all the people that should be happy. Because it doesn't say all the members of the party are happy.
Nowhere, anywhere, all the members of the party will be happy in any decision whatsoever.
Yeah, but you know,
the ones that should be happy.
The people that were in the party, some of the people that were in the party, especially those who played prominent roles in the party.
Like who?
For instance, exactly, who was the presidential candidate in the last elections in 2023, clearly has not been happy with the developments in the 80s. Even before this injunction came or this recognition by INEC, he thinks that this takeover has just been an ambush of sorts. And I do not know what you make of people like him, who he's the most prominent of all the people that we have, that we have interviewed because he was the presidential candidate. You also have a number of other people across the different states who seem unhappy. Yeah. What do you think that this sort of unhappiness could cause for the ADC moving forward?
First and foremost, you just read this court ruling. I did not hear the name of Kachuku. So he is not a party to any suit that I'm aware of. Then secondly, you said he was. 2023 election is concluded and gone.
Is he still a member of the party?
Well, presently, by the decision of the NEC, which they have the power by the control of ADC to do, he is not. Because he was suspended legitimately by the Constitution. Every constitution has its own rules.
So his happiness is inconsequential.
It is completely inconsequential. As far as I didn't meet him in the ADC, he was already suspended before I came into ADC. And so I cannot comment on a person who is not a member of ADC by the control of ADC.
A suspension is not an expulsion. He's suspended. If you say suspended, he's still a member. He's on suspension.
While Fubara is suspended as the governor of Rivers State, can he perform as the governor of Rivers State?
Doesn't mean he's not governor of Rivers State.
But I'm trying to tell you that he has been expelled from the party.
So you're changing so it's no more suspension. You're saying to maybe he has been expelled from the party.
Because his own was not ratified. When they called back all the members that have been, expelled before, his own was sustained in the last NEC. So for now, he's not a member of the party. And even in suspension, all your rights are suspended.
Now we know why. Why wasn't he called back? What happened?
No, you see, sorry to say this, but naturally there are people who are professional troublemakers.
Is a professional troublemaker?
I said naturally there are some people who are professional troublemakers. Because why would you not like people coming into your party to consolidate your party, make it relevant for better future for Nigeria and for your party? Why? I've asked around, because I'm a man who wants to fight for justice. I've asked around, asked the leaders of the party, why is this person, why is he implacable? Why can't he be placated?
You didn't. He wasn't consulted.
No, who told you that?
Was he consulted before he put it over the fact that he was presidential candidate?
18 months negotiation was held. Before, can't you see that every opposition leader is a party to this? Do you know in Nigeria what it takes to bring all the opposition leaders together and all of them consented to ADC? It took a while. Negotiation. Everybody was calling, including him. I don't understand his grounds. Nobody took your position. Nobody is saying you should not participate in all the activities of the party. Why are you distressed? He made one comment that was very revealing in his last interview. He said, because INEC chairman is about to leave, he has now started showing his displeasure against the president. What has the president to do with INEC's job of recognizing a political party? Is he now admitting that he is working in tandem with APC? This was his own comment. Now, is he now admitting that APC is not happy that ADC is now fully recognized by INEC? You see, we have to be very careful because at times people reveal their intention without even knowing that they have done it.
Also in that interview, his issue during that interview was also about the quality of the people who are now inside this party.
Okay.
He says that these people are the ones who run this country aground.
Interesting.
And are they coming to rescue Nigerians from themselves? That was a question he asked.
You see, that's a different thing. The constitution does not allow you to stop any Nigerian from joining a political party. Said your political party as a condition to be registered must be open to Nigerians. So, and I'm asking with respect, what is he in the party to be the gatekeeper of who comes in and who goes out?
Former presidential aspirant of the party.
That is not a party position. So the party is allowed. In the constitution of ADC, I can't find former presidential candidate. So he's not an officer of the party. He's not working with any organ of the party. So what gave him the power to be the gatekeeper of the people who comes into ADC and who goes out of ADC? He doesn't have such powers. And we are a nation of laws. So rule of law means that everything should be done in accordance with the law. Now, look at David Bonaventure Alechenumak. Look at such a distinguished person who has told us his leadership vision. The leadership vision of David Mark for ADC. 1, internal democracy. 2, collective leadership. 3, technical competence. Structured financing. Inclusivity that will ensure 35% affirmative action to women and youth participation. Look at him talking about unity and security of Nigeria, talking about progressive governance, talking about, above all, zero tolerance for indiscipline and corruption. This is his leadership vision, openly stated. And then, why would you not allow such a man to bring about a great Nigeria? What is your problem? We are all keying into this wonderful vision that will ensure internal democracy, that will ensure the security and welfare of Nigerians through progressive governance. Everything David Mark has stated. And from his background as a military officer, you know how disciplined they are? This is such a disciplined gentleman. Former Senate president. During the time he was the Senate president, our Senate enjoyed the greatest calm. No upheaval throughout. Yet they maintain their stand on certain things. Have you forgotten the doctrine of necessity? This is the great son of Nigeria that ensured that Nigeria's boat did not capsize.
All right, Mr. Okonkwo, I think that the credentials of your leadership is very well out there. So we will wait and see, how Mr. Kachiko views this recognition from INEC with regards to the ADC. But then there have been other developments.
You should look at the president of the country, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and say, Mr. President, you erred with your team, with the presidency, with your party. You jumped the gun, and others followed. They were doing slate of mobilization and endorsement across the north. There was one in the northwest, none in the north central, not one in the northeast, where even the name of the VP was taken away from the list of those to be endorsed openly in the glare of the public. There was even an endorsement inside the villa. When the president, who ought to man the space of governance and obey the law with his team, let the cat out of the bag, jump the gun, because he panicked in a way, the rest of the political class will not fold their arms. They will join the fray. So INEC may have to bring other facts by cautioning the president of the country, the presidency, his party APC, to give this piece a chance in terms of politicking and focus on governance. If you don't focus on governance and policy implementation, politicians are bound to seize the moment and seize the day.
So you're saying it's fair game at this point?
That he has made it a fair game. Because you see, if you have the calculus that you want to prepare for 2027 for leisurely re-entry, that means emasculate the political class, dismember the existing political parties, ruin the infrastructure of liberal democratic governance, and then repress multi-party democracy. It makes it easy for you to re-enter 2027. That's what they're doing. Politicians on the other side must resist it. Will say PDP must be reborn, rebetted, regenerated. ADC must find its footing and bearing in order to survive. Labour Party have to find its own direction here and there. The moment they start doing that, the system, of course, will be heated up. The heating up didn't start from the position ranks. It started from the ranks of APC, the president of the country, and the presidency.
What about the cost on the polity, on governance? Because the trade-off is that the administration becomes too distracted that governance suffers.
Deliberately, the administration distracted itself on two scores. When you have very little to offer, you find something else to distract the people. In terms of policy implementation, policy enunciation, this government came with too broad macroeconomic strokes. Subsidy is gone on day one. Weeks later, Naira floated. These shocks have not abated. It has led to incremental growth of multidimensional poverty. It has led to depreciated living standard of the people. It has ruined so many homes. It has rendered people pauperized. It has even increased insecurity. The moment you know that these policies, which are neoliberal policies, forced upon us from outside, are not working, you must find a way to breathe easy. That is campaigning, going towards 2027. That's why I said that the presidential team panicked in the sense that the policies are not working. As many of these policies have been thrown all over the place, but they're not sticking well. If you ask around the 4 key domains or sites of life: security, apparatus or infrastructure or architecture, how far is it? Northeast, north central, northwest, southeast. How is it going? Not well at all. Welfare of the people, prosperity of the people, transportation, education cost, and so on, living standard, cost of food, staple food, and so on. Not pretty picture. Health-wise, not pretty picture. So ultimately, what you have to do is to shift the debate away from policies that have failed or failing into focus.
You think the verdict is out already on the Tinubu reform?
There's nothing this government can do to change to 2027, because ultimately by 2026, second quarter, if I'm not mistaken, the primaries of all the parties will take place. The candidates who will face off against him will emerge. Campaign will start whether INEC likes it or not. That's what's going to happen. He needed 2 years, solid 2 years, to avoid politics and govern. He didn't get the 2 years because he decided to throw this 2027 transitional politics into the ring, and politicians accepted it with glee. So the blame should clearly focus on the government of the day that should have been consistent with bringing up pro-people policies and programs that will uplift the living standard of the people, attenuate poverty, lead to incremental growth of national prosperity, capacity, building in terms of our industrial production, Naira strengthening. Again, most crucially, the removal of subsidy with all the billions now released. What's the impact on the life of the people? The country is still borrowing aggressively, much more than before in our history. So if you put all these pictures together, they're not pretty. The pretty thing for the president to do is to do what? Begin campaigning well ahead of time. I said it in many other studio. The government panicked, especially because the signals coming from the north were not pretty good signals. The idea for the president is that if we paralyze, pulverize, and neutralize the political south as the only standing force, then he can levy political war in the north. But if you have a President Jonathan or P2B coming on board to dismember the south and break that unity into pieces by soliciting the president and his team to the Milokun section of the south, that means the southwest, liberating the southeast and the south for the other two, or one of them, it means the north will now settle the score for two certain brothers in a very, very strong, robust political context. Because of that reason, he needed to re-engineer the north. The first part of the re-engineering was when he the vice president. I will stop at that. If they've had their way and less noise was made, possibly a team of the northeast could have been sacrificed for somebody of the northwest. Now he's shifting from the Kanuri corridor. They may claim the corridor has only 2 potent states, Borno and Yobe, to the Fulani corridor, which has a lot more states: Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Katsina, right down to Jigawa, Kano, etc.
Is that your guesstimate?
The point is that politics is a game of number.
Right.
At the end of the day, what is concealed in the dark will be revealed in the day. The president is going to be renominated by his party, and he's going to choose a running mate. It's either he retains the vice president or he shifts the ground.
If he won with Shetima, albeit a close call, why do you think he would want to change the winning formula?
It wasn't even a close call. I said it was like a disastrous victory if you can use such a time. When he scored 37% over 100, that's not a close call. The other party is lost. He didn't win. If you combine the votes of PDP and Labour,
elections are zero-sum.
That's 63% of the vote. That's almost a compact majority. That's a minority president, a minority victory. So he actually lost in terms of the number, in terms of the arithmetic of it. And that is because he was not even known. Check history. Obama did very well in 2008 because see, yes, we can. The fire, the spirit of audacity, that charisma carried him through. 2012, he did very poorly because they've seen him for 4 years and said, he's a regular politician like the rest of them. But he came. Mr. Stop corruption, stop indiscipline. So secondly was much more difficult. Jonathan, even former President Jonathan, shoeless, breath of fresh air, not a typical politician. He did it. Second term, he conceded. So this president will not do as well in 2027 as he did in 2023. Something rubs off you except the achievement is spectacularly exaggerated or extravagant.
And you don't think Tinubu will survive a referendum in 2027?
You can see that 2027 will be a referendum on his own governance. It will be a promise of a better tomorrow. He just said, for 4 years, he gave it to me. I removed subsidy, life is better for you. I floated in Naira, everything is fine. Education is good, transportation is nice. The money I've given to the workers is solving their problems. These things can be said because people say, hey, look, this is alternate universe or alternate truth. We know the reality of the day. People are hurting. How do you think man who never really won 2023 will win 2027 when there's nothing to run on?
Right, let's talk about that political map that you talked about. The South, for instance. The talk of former President Goodluck Jonathan coming back into the arena. Peter Obi already, Nigerians get the feeling that he is going to be in the race, right? Talk to me about how some say we're witnessing a remaking of the political map, especially in the southern part of the country. The APC has made some inroads there, albeit through defections of some governors in the southeast and now in the south-south, and they are concerned that some of them will actually still join the APC before the end of the year. What are your theories about what's happening in the southern part of the country about 2027?
Now, quickly, before I dive into this matter, 2023, a certain P2P took the brand of a very small party, typically unknown, called Labour Party. No infrastructure. I don't use to use the corrupt term structure. No infrastructure, mean deeply embedded apparatus that can mobilize people for you, protect your vote, what they call mandate protection, canvas for you, interlinkages, networking ability and so on. And then political godfathers and godmothers and goduncles and cousins there to work for you. He smashed through the entire Southeast. He beat everybody. None of the other candidates scored 25%. Maybe one state, I don't know. South, he did extraordinarily very well. That means capturing governors or senators or getting them to defect will not solve your problem. Because this is organic. You're picking them from the top, but the mass base is still intact, rearing to go, bitter, angry, disenchanted and discontented. If you add the Jonathan mix, that's a phenomenon. 11 years ago, late Senator Ifeanyi bettered or founded TAN, Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. I was a spokesperson of that TAN. I was the face of that TAN. What was the mission of TAN? That Jonathan has done well in the first time. Nigerians now demand he should do a second time. 11 years later, there's a clarion call that the man who picked up the phone and called his opponent, I lost, you won, congratulations. And for 10 years, built up an incredible stature as a global leader, as a statesman. Is being pressed upon by people, very powerful individuals, that the country is hurting. We're on the edge of the precipice. We need it to come and salvage this country. Whether he answers the call is a different matter, but if he does, he will shape the politics of the nation. One of many scores. The North that rejected him 2015 seemed to be, from my conversations with a lot of the leaders, when they know that we made a mistake in that rejection. Maybe it was just a moral card in terms of the zoning thing. But you can see what they did with the marginal education, with the TAM, we did with the inclusive governance model. Chairman of the party was from the North, the chairman of the INEC chairman from the North, his principal secretary has him to over from the North. His national advisor, somebody that's from the North. You don't have that anymore under Buhari and Bola Tinubu. You find a president who was able to build consensus among all the major and smaller groups in the country and grew the economy to the biggest in Africa. And even for Boko Haram, they stand still. So that nostalgic feeling that he should come and say this country is growing. And if he does, I can bet you the North will live in a tectonic shift away from everybody.
Does Jonathan still have some political currency to leverage? Someone saying...
That's the currency I'm giving you. It's not alone.
Someone saying, he's lost his position. He's lost the momentum. I mean, there's still that nostalgia, but he might have lost his touch.
It's not the nostalgia. It is real. When you have a president, a country that is growing in stature, economy that is booming, people that are prosperous, they do that becomes mere nostalgia. But when you find economy that is tanking, when you find people that are hurting, when you find multidimensional poverty and denuded living as the order of the day, people will remember those days in which the Naira was $1 to 200 or thereabout, in which the economy was the biggest in Africa, in which a lot of attention was paid to the youth, in which security was even taken seriously, in which there was inclusion in governance, not this kind of a local, kind of insular, narrow, regionalist mindset of supremacist and hegemonic politics. So the big deal for Jonathan, and most crucially, let's be practical about it, he has only one time. That is key for the North, because 2031, don't be any argument. That's why Peter Obi was very quick to say, right, I have one time to do, even if you give it to me. Right. Because we know that morally, the very imperative that will drive political success is to say, 2023 to 2031 is the turn of the South, 2031 almost is the turn of the North. Jonathan taking this plunge will be a game changer. Peter Obi taking the plunge and getting the nod of a major party is a game changer. Within the PDP, you can see the work being done there. The chairman of the Governors Forum, the governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, had led the charge to rebuild and reform and retool the party in that direction. Successful convention in November, Jonathan will be in the mix, Bola Tinubu is toast.
Right. Let's take a look at that picture one more time. It was taken earlier today. In fact, this is former governor of Anambra State in a handshake with former President Goodluck Jonathan. Earlier in the day, he said that, quote, they had a robust, fruitful, closed-door meeting and discussed the state of Nigeria. And of course, it's It's a known fact that P2B has a lot of respect and admiration for former President Goodluck Jonathan. But there's a big question about who steps down for whom.
Oh, it is not. It's not in my place.
But what do you think about that being?
I'm an analyst. My duty as an analyst, as a student of power and politics in Nigeria, is to watch data like this, to see that picture, not speculation, that P2B went to see the former president. His former boss in a way. He was the honorary advisor on finance and economy 2013, 14, 15. He was the deputy campaign manager of his campaign 2015. He was even the running mate of Atiku 2019. So he's very closely associated with PDP. That's the last president of PDP.
But there's a lot of talk, Prof, about what could go wrong if both individuals decide to throw their hats in the ring.
Do you know why I talked about the president and his team getting the plot wrong and panicking? PDP will do convention in November. ADC may do a convention sometime around November, December, thereabout. From the INEC timetable, the presidential primaries will be July, August 2026. That is 1 year. It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime and enough time to sort out these issues. Who goes, who doesn't go? Which platform or not platform? The time is not upon us yet. What upon us now is to ensure that these incredibly resourceful individuals, the former president, the disruptive leader of the Biden movement, and then a reborn in the PDP, are all there, which, and even to an extent, a reborn ADC with a new life given them by INEC there, will be there to shepherd opposition politics that the president and his team never thought would happen. The idea was that these parties will collapse before 2026, 27. It is not happening. By 2026 primary elections there will be one or two other robust parties ready and waiting to snatch power away from the president and his team 2027.
Right. There are a lot of people in the southern part of the country who are against the idea of P2B or even former President Goodluck Jonathan being in the contest. One of the most profound voices is the current minister of the FCT, who still has some level of influence, or dare I say control, over the PDP. What do you think about people like that who are outrightly advocating and campaigning for the president's re-election, still having some sort of influence in the main opposition party like the PDP?
The PDP, like every other political party, is composed of interlocking structures, interdependent structures with close affinities. The leading one there is the governance forum because of the space and power and influence the governors occupy. The chairman is Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State. That engine room of party revival is insulated and inoculated from any of this matter you're talking about. That's most important. The second one is the NWC. Had some issues in the past 1.5 years, but now reborn. They are together. That's why they were able to sign off on the convention with ease, with everybody in sync. Not to please the president, not to please anybody that pleases the president, but ensure that the party is a formidable autonomous entity that is going to give the president and his team a run for the money. The problem is the board of trustees, headed by Senator Omabara. That is in sync with the governance forum, in sync with the NWC. So in that sense, the dominant tendencies in the party are working towards the actualization of an independent party apparatus that is going to either, we have Sheyi Makinde as a second-term governor, he happy to be a former aspirant, he happy to be President Jonathan, a former president of the party panel. That is the picture, not painted by me, but by reality. Secondly, other entities in the South who are urging for Southern solidarity are those who are benefiting from the misgovernance of the current government, of those who are part of the Milokun, spirit of this is our turn. Ogun State, for example, has 4 or 5 ministers. Fact check me on this. Entire Southeast has 5 ministers. There's no Southern solidarity in that matter. The 3 domains of hegemony, presidential power, economy and security apparatus, all confiscated by one entity. That entity doesn't represent the Igbo, Efik, Ijo, and the PPO. It represents only one dimension. People increasingly, I don't know whether it is true, it could be speculation, that the language in the villa now, people know what it is. The language in the central bank, people know what it is. The language in NNPC and language in immigration and the language in customs, they know what it is. That's narrow language. So even when if Sheyi Makinde were to do well in the primaries, he's going to bring that spirit that is known in the Southwest, progressive, inclusive spirit, not a Miloko spirit, that is regionalist, hegemonic in context, insular, and parapolitical orientation.
Right. I wish I can understand that less
That's what Malakbo is saying. When you're in university, Malakbo means your village assembly.
Right.
Whenever I have, like, for a year from, say, a village in Kogi or whatever there, and the whole meetings there. So you find this presidency is like Malakbo presidency. A presidency of me, I, myself, and my people. Right. Distinct from the rest of the people in the South.
I'm sure the presidency would disagree with your submission there.
He can't disagree with, excuse me, please. This is not something we are doing because we love to do it. When you have, I say, the 3 domains of hegemony, I told you the Jonathan presidency, President Secretary, Hassan Tuko, Chief of Staff, at the time was Ogadiome. At the time was from the late, General Arobofa, what is his name, from Ondo State or thereabout. The National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, INEC chairman from the north.
Tinubu said the same. He has the NSA from Adamawa State.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I know. But if you look at inside the villa itself now, the forces there, if you take Take the security apparatus, take the army chief, to the degree even that an army chief was abroad for a long period of time. We have a country suffused with generals. Suddenly a new term emerged, acting army chief. From the same stock. He's never done in the army. No, he's not done in the army. You have the police. Right. You have the DSS. All in one army. Then you have the Minister of Finance. You have the FIRS. You have the Customs. You have the Central Bank. It's not something Udenta is saying. That is the truth. All right. If you don't balance this thing, it will haunt you. So what he needs to do at this stage is to retool that government apparatus. Because in every village, I told some other people, I have close to 20, 30 professors in my village. Up to 100 PhD holders, engineers and doctors and so on. So don't tell me because they have their people, they are important, they are gifted. Right. There are people gifted across the country. Right. Balance this thing. Obasanjo did it in 1999.
All right, let's segue a little bit because, I mean, the presidency has shared a lot of data around how fairly balanced the constitution is.
We know the data there. If there's a job you give somebody, and you give the group, you say, give me this job, pick 40 of the other one. We understand all that. Okay. You can't confuse anybody with data.
All right. You talk about Peter Obi and former President Goodluck Jonathan and how they do have a good chance of offsetting the Tinubu re-election bid. What about what's happening with the ADC? What about Atiku Abubakar? Now, where does it fit into your calculations?
Now, let me put it this way. And I want you to organize a town hall, a bigger gathering or forum. That Bala Mohammed said, I will not contest for the presidency with the apparatus I have and infrastructure built because I want this moral clarity to give it to the South. It's a very important reason. Strategic reason too is that if you have a Southerner as a president for 4 years, you have to have a Southerner because it becomes increasingly difficult for a Northerner to win. You know why? The president and his team, they have weaponized the South. If you have anybody, I don't want to call him from the North. I don't know the state in the South where he will secure 10% of the vote, given the national climate. So if you don't have 10% of any of the vote in the South,
I don't think his electoral track record shows that.
I said because it's clear, because we're looking at the geography. Southwest, where's going to get it? Southeast will be on Jonathan, we will get it. There's no way. It doesn't exist. Only in the figment of anybody's imagination. So if you denied 25% in 17 states, and you do the repeat election 34,000 times, you will never win. In that sense, no Northerner given today's environment will win election in this country, the presidency. I want that debate.
In 2027.
I want that debate to be castrated. Right. But you can see a Southerner, Whoopi did it. Not only did he well in the South, he did well in the so-called Middle Belt. Did well in FCT, did well in Nasarawa, Plateau, Benue. So there are many segments of the North where a certain president, a certain candidate like Obi or Jonathan, will do well. But it's going to be difficult for a Northerner now, given it's the turn of the South, to do even well in one set of the South.
All right, finally.
You listen to that. You see, there's a lot of problem going on in the country. You understand? Different set. Tinubu is in France. He doesn't care. Problem upon problem. Now there is another protest in Kogi. I just bust out yesterday. I mean today. They are protesting over insecurity. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs woman. That one, his ministry. They are protesting, complaining that nothing is going on in their ministry. They even including pen and paper. They don't have pen and paper to write. Nothing is going on in their ministry. The woman has never met the workers for over 1 year of being appointed as a women affairs minister. After she replaced Kennedy Uju, and now what's her name? Ima Suleiman Ibrahim. Now they are protesting. Should go different sectors, different agencies of the government. Almost all of them, they are complaining. Problem upon problem. Nothing is going on in their ministry. Nothing is going on. Insecurity is increasing day by day. Tinubu is enjoying, relaxing in France. They say he's doing well. Tinubu is doing well. Why you there? The reason why you say Tinubu is doing well, you need to tell us if Tinubu is doing well. Insecurity wouldn't have been increasing. Level of kidnapping wouldn't have been increasing. This ministry complaining that there is no tools, there's no materials, common pen and paper to write on, they wouldn't have been complaining. Doctors and nurses are complaining they want to go on strike. They wouldn't have been complaining. No pen, they wouldn't have been complaining. Do you understand? Different ministries. So which one is functioning properly that you can rely on? Our healthcare is nothing to write home about. Our schools nothing to write home about. So what is special? What has Tinubu done in these areas? If you failed, your administration fails in this area that I just mentioned, that means your government has failed. And Tinubu is campaigning. He started campaign even since last year, before the next election, 2 years after, or even more than 2 years, because this started since last year. You started seeing Tinubu's this thing when Tinubu's son went to the north that time, and you see those big board in Abuja last year, something like that. They started complaining because Tinubu has failed from the beginning. He need to start on time, start seeing what he can do to convince gullible Nigeria how much Nigerians will need, how much poverty they are going through, so that he can know how much he's going to distribute to each person 2027 to vote for them. That's what they are doing. This campaign they are doing is just about calculation to know the level of desperation, level of poverty people are living in. That's the meaning of their campaign, not because they are going to get vote. I do not see who's going to vote for them. So Tinubu says he's doing well, this and that. I just want you to explain to me which area has he done well, done better than you say he's doing well. We should give him another 4 years again to come back. If he deserves it, these people complaining would have been the one selling his market, would have been the one introducing, telling us that Tinubu is doing well, not Tinubu himself. If Tinubu is praising himself, it means that he has failed. Nobody is praising him. He just decided to praise himself because of shame. Do you understand? Because of shame. If he has done well, these different ministries, doctors and nurses would have been singing his mandate, would have been telling us that Tinubu has done well. ASU on strike, or they want to go on strike. Those people would have been the one telling us, telling Nigerians that Tinubu is doing well. So if these people could not see that Tinubu is doing well, or the contractors have not been paid their salary since last year, so who are those people to say Tinubu is doing well? These are APC member, we only tell you. Can you imagine? So now he's in France. So now that election is just there, so what I want to know, Tinubu should prepare. He should be bold enough. He should be bold enough to pick up his phone and call, either call Jonathan or call Peter Obi. Congratulations. But because of his arrogance, rascality, he is not going to do that. I know he will feel too big to do that. He won't do it. Whether you do it or not, you're not going to continue your after 2027. You're going back to body long. That is it. You're not going to continue. But mind you, Jonathan should step down. Should step aside. Yes, the meeting was successful. We are still waiting for the outcome of that meeting. There are still a lot of time to know who is representing each party. There's still a time since August next year. So there's still 1 year ahead for them to do underground work, to different meetings and whatever, to come up with conclusions. There's still a lot of time. This one you see, Tinubu started because they failed already. They decided to start the campaign on time, which is not the way it usually be. So anyways, having said that, Jonathan, now that ADC has recognized, INEC has recognized the leadership of David Mark and Aregbesola, what next? The thing is, they have to now look at PDP is zoning their ticket to the south. So that means ADC will have to zone their ticket to the south, because you need to do something that will make your coalitions to win an election. Do you understand? Other than that, it's not going to work. It happens the time you guys are forming coalitions and PDP too want to go into election as a solo. So it's going to be a problem. The vote will be split. But for APC to win election, for ADC to win election, it depends on the person who is flying the ticket. For PDP to win election, it depends on who is on the ballot, who is flying the ticket. Now, here is the confusion. If ADC give ticket to Peter Obi, rest assured ADC will win the election. But if they give the ticket to Peter Obi, I doubt, right? Yes, it has chances. Under there, I doubt, because now I don't know who ADC is going to give the ticket to, but that one is going to be like Tinubu and did not by vote, because I do not see Atiku will not. Anyways, let me leave this just this permutation, guessing and whatever. But hey, if ADC want to win the election, give it to Peter Obi, give the ticket to Peter Obi. If PDP want to win, give it. But PDP, Goodluck, Jonathan and Peter Obi will not be on the ballot. Definitely, two of them are not going to be. Like, they can't zone the tickets to the south side. Like, where if you are thinking that they are going to, maybe Jonathan will be the president, Peter Obi will be the vice, it's not possible. They can't zone this to the south southeast. No, he's one person has to be from the south, person has to be from the north. So if ADC do the same thing, it's the same thing. So if Jonathan is not contesting and they give this ticket, ADC give the ticket to Peter Obi, forget the rest is history. Mind you, people are waiting. Anywhere better day, Nigeria will go. Anywhere Peter will be there, Nigeria they go. Nigerians are there queuing behind it already, just for him to announce that this is the party. The rest is history. You see what is going to happen. What do you think? Please share this video. So coalitions want to win an election, they know what to do. So share this video. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guy. Run out for me now.